Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob, and today we are going to be continuing the module short story narrations for the various operators in Arknights. And today we're going to take a peek at the first module and the first short story that comes with it for operator Nian. And yes, I say first because in the future she will receive a second module with a second short story, so once that drops, or around the time it drops, expect another video on on this very same operator and the next story that will come with it. But yeah, as per usual, let's go and check out the short story first, and then we are gonna take a look at what trait it brings to Nian and what talents it changes up. So, when it comes to the module's art, first and foremost, holy detail. Yeah. Out of all the modules that I have done a short story so far on, there are a couple where they just look insane when it comes to detail, but this is next level. I don't even know what to say about this one. This is just insanity in details, and I do wonder if this is an actual drawing, 3D art, combination of both, or maybe an actual miniature that they have in the office and they just took a picture of, because this is insane. I would say it's probably digital 3D art, but my god, does this look insane. I would love to have this as a miniature, not gonna lie. But anyway, our module and the short story are titled The Array of Chaos, and the story goes as follows. At the border was a fellow of Lee who tilled. He dug up an idol of more than a chi in length, formed like an armored soldier, vividly lifelike, but its nature was unknown. He gave it to his son, and his son loved it very much. The fellow's son would carry the idol with him to the neighbor's boy to play, imitating an expedition. The idol was light yet sturdy, and all else that touched it fell afoul. The neighbor's boy brought out clay burial figures among others to serve as troops. None could withstand, and he was greatly angered, and abruptly took a hoe to the idol, whereupon the hoe broke and the idol was unharmed. The fellow's son treasured it all the more, always sure to place it by his pillow, thereafter falling asleep. The neighbor's boy told his father of the idol. The father was covetous and sought to rob it upon hearing of this, believing it to be valuable. One day, upon the city docking in remote regions, the neighbor there entered the house of Lee at night, seized the idol and left, to enter the city in his greed to offer it to a noble. Before long, he met a person who spake. Quick little thing here, because I was thinking that spake might be a typo and should be spoke. No, spake is an actual correct form, and it is just a past tense. But anyway, before long he met a person who spake. To walk at night is very tiring. Rest for a brief while. He did not answer. Again the person spake. The idol in your sack is an infant's toy. A bit you know this. It will not bring you reward, but instead suffer you calamity. You should return swiftly. The neighbor was greatly startled. He knew he had met an extraordinary one, and could not balk for a moment, only mumbling his assent. The extraordinary one knew his intent and laughed grandly. The neighbor dared not raise his gaze out of fear. Shortly the laughter fell, but the extraordinary one had thus left. Though he feared calamity, he did not return, instead hurrying fast to the city. But the idol in his sack grew all the heavier, and shortly he could not carry it on his back, and dragged it. In an instant his strength was depleted, his mood in great turmoil. Fearful the extraordinary one would take the idol, he thus fell upon the sack, and as he looked all around he wept, and in the end could not abandon it. At daybreak a merchant passed by, and saw a man lying sound asleep. Before long he woke with a start, grasped the sack, and spake, "Do not take my idol." But the sack was completely empty. The merchant believed him crazed and left him behind. Thus he was in a daze, returned home, and there fell deathly sick. The son woke, looked all over but could not find the idol. and wept greatly and did not stop. Told by some that the neighbor had thieved it, the fellow of Li sought to question the neighbor, but found him of great illness, and instead made no question. The townsfolk believed the idol inauspicious, and the son argued with them, and unsuccessful, was angered, but spake no further of it. The fellow of Li feared his son would walk the neighbor's path in life, sought for it with great care. His son did not become crazed, but began to study forging and casting. Some asked the son of it, and he spake, I know the idol is not born of magic, it is the work of real men. I will cast a new idol to prevail over it. The son grew somewhat older, and forged and cast relentlessly, ingenious of mind and divine of spirit, and word of his reputation reached the capital. A department examined his talent and weighed him well. He was selected to become a Tianqi. 5 years later, the son cast an idol and offered it to all at the Ministry of Works. This idol was fashioned after an armored soldier, clad and equipped full and well, of nature light yet sturdy, and did not rust even when aired to the sun or lashed by the rain. The High Minister was alarmed and sought to ask of it, and the son told him of what happened in childhood. The High Minister fell silent and did not respond. The son of Li lived to 90 and passed, and his marvelous skills have been passed down to countlessly many, and even now still have their employers. Very interesting history lesson. I wonder if this is based on like a true story as well, considering Nian and what Nian is based upon when it comes to that. But yeah, I do wonder. Also, I do wonder about one thing here, the mention of an extraordinary one. Now, obviously Nian is linked to forging and stuff, and I wonder if the extraordinary one is meant to be Nian, or if it's maybe the actual Sui, but I would say it's Nian, probably. But if someone has any thoughts on that, much appreciated. But yeah, very interesting story. I wonder what the next one is gonna be about. But yeah, anyway, oh, right, before we go into the details of the module, if by any chance you have not, are listening to this and have not experienced the stories that Nian is part of and are wondering what I mean by Sui and stuff like that, all I can recommend is to follow along with the stories that Nian was part of. Ancient Forge being the first story that was introduced, which introduced Nian, technically. Sadly, I do not have a narration on the channel that I could link to you, but if you want to know more about the Suis and such, links in the description will be for the narration of the Who is Real story, which introduced Dusk, and the continuation of that story, which is Invitation to Wine, which introduced Ling. All three of those stories are pretty much a continuation of each other, so go and take a peek. Those are very interesting, and very soon we are going to be getting yet another story featuring yet another of these Sui siblings. But yeah, anyway, now to the numbers. So first off, before we go into what the module upgrades on Nian, let's take a look at the traits and talents first. So, considering she's a tank, the trait is blocks 3 enemies. Of course. The 2 talents, the first one, Tectonic Armor. When this unit is in the squad, all defenders gain 16% max HP. Very nice. Especially if you're running a lot of tank units, this will be very helpful. The second talent is Clairvoyance. After deployment, immediately gains 3 shields. As a quick reminder, every shield blocks 1 instance of damage per layer of the shield. So each shield pretty much negates 1 instance of damage that she would receive. But obviously these are only there after she is deployed. You could remove her from the field, wait the timer, and plop her back down and she would get shields back. But again, it's a long timer. She is a tank. Anyway, what does the module do? Once again, this is a tier 2 module that I already have, so keep that in mind. So, on tier 1, it will improve her max HP and defense, And the trait gets added, which just passively boosts her defense by 20% when she is blocking an enemy. So the 20% plus here is when she blocks, not in general. On tier 2, outside of increasing her HP and defense even more, she will also gain an addition to her attack. Also, as a quick reminder, Nian is a very, very offensive tank. But on tier 2, her clairvoyance will also be buffed, or rather another line of text will be added to this. So the 3 shields on deployment stay, but now whenever she loses one of those shields, when a shield is broken, she will gain an attack and defense buff of 5% each. And she will also gain 2 SP when a shield breaks. Now obviously when the shields are down, she will not be gaining any more SP from this, but the attack and defense buff, from my understanding here, are staying with her as long as she is on the field, which is actually great and a very substantial upgrade. Furthermore, on stage 3, the 3 shields stay, but instead of 5% for attack and defense each, the buff for breaking each shield is plus 7% on defense and attack. And instead of 2 SP for breaking each shield, she will gain 3. So yeah, interesting. Further increases to buffs. And yeah, she is, like I said, a very offensive, but also very supportive tank. First skill is pretty much damage, arts damage here on. Second skill makes it so she doesn't attack, but pretty much doubles up her attack, and her block goes up by 1. And upon receiving an enemy attack, she deals arts damage to the attacker equal to 70% of her attack and silences them for 3 seconds. Very nice. And her third skill, which requires the most amount of energy to execute, but on first deployment is very quickly reachable, pretty much doubles her attack, and any nearby allied operator in the field gains a defense increase of 70% and a block of +1, and they gain status resistance. That is a very helpful buff for situations where a lot of either big area splash damage is being received on units, or just to make them hold the line even better. And yes, she is a very offensive tank when it comes down to that. But yeah, that is about it. I already set the stories that I would recommend to the to get to know Nian a bit better and what the whole Sui adventures are about. So yeah, very interesting. Very much looking forward to further expeditions into the Sui farm in the future. And yeah, let's see how that one goes. But anyway, thank you all for listening and watching. If you like this video, please consider leaving a like. It helps both the video, the channel, and means a lot to me. So thank you very much. And I'll see you again in the future when when Nian has another module. Very interested to see what the second story is going to be about. Is it going to be another history lesson, or what the hell is going to be that one? Or is it going to be fourth wall breaking because she just likes to do that? But anyway, is it going to be a stupid B-movie plot? I would appreciate that one. But anyway, thank you all for listening, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, bye bye.